The next book that I'm going to be reviewing is called The Glass Sentence by S.E. Grove, and it is the first book in a series called The Mapmaker's Trio, and the second one is called The Golden Specific. And I will be honest with you that when I read the first one, I was a little unsure of whether or not I really liked the series. But by the time I got to the second one, The Golden Specific, I definitely decided that it was a great book. So The Glass Sentence is kind of a historical fantasy. The whole premise is that there is something called the Great Disruption. And the Great Disruption happened in the early 1800s, and basically what happened was like an eruption or earthquake, and it threw all parts of the world into different time periods. So we have one time period that's in the 1870s, another time period that is in the future, in the 40th century. We have some that are all the way back in the Dark Ages. And the main character, Sophia, is in kind of the 1880s. But the way the United States has evolved because of the Great Disruption is different than the way we know it. So there was no Civil War. And part of America, the kind of what I think of as the 13 colonies, is in the 1870s. And then the western part of America is in a completely different time zone. And so I found myself quite a lot having to refer back to the map that's at the beginning here to see how things made. So they're all in different time periods, and it is called The Glass Sentence because Sophia's parents are gone, and she lives with her uncle, and he is a map maker, which is a pretty renowned thing during this time, during this story, because they are learning about the other worlds in terms, other parts of the country in terms of what time period they live in. And so just as he's beginning to teach her how to read maps, and they're not maps like what we know of. So we think of the paper copies of maps. These are maps that are on glass or on, there are some on metal, and when you read them, you're reading also emotions, or you're reading what the weather is like, or memories. Just as he begins to teach her that, that is when he disappears, and so she goes on a quest to get him back. So it is definitely a fantasy adventure. There's some historical elements to it, and I really like the series and would definitely recommend it to you.